No friends, how solitude turns you into a better person. When you are alone, you begin to see. You are alone, no messages on your phone, no one calling your name, no one waiting for you. At first, it feels heavy. It feels quiet in a bad way. It feels like something is missing. You may think something is wrong with you. But what if nothing is wrong? What if this moment is not a problem? What if this moment is the beginning of something powerful? Many people fear being alone. They think alone means weak. They think alone means unwanted. They think alone means broken. But this is not the whole truth. Sometimes being alone is not loss. Sometimes being alone is a door to yourself. When you have no friends, the world becomes quiet. When the world becomes quiet, your mind becomes loud. You start to hear your own thoughts. You start to see your own feelings. You start to meet the person inside you. Most people never meet themselves. They are always busy with others. They talk, they scroll, they laugh, they follow, they copy. They never stop, they never listen, they never ask, who am I? What do I want? Why am I here? But you are alone, so you cannot escape. You cannot hide in noise. You cannot hide in people. You sit with yourself. You walk with yourself. You eat with yourself. You sleep with yourself. At first, this feels strange. Then it feels honest. You notice your thoughts. Some are kind. Some are angry. Some are scared. Some are tired. You notice your feelings: sadness, hope, fear, curiosity. You start to understand yourself, not the version others see, but the real version inside. This is the first gift of solitude, self-awareness. When you know yourself, you grow. When you understand yourself, you become strong. Think about a mirror. If you never look, you never know your face. If you never stop, you never know your heart. Being alone gives you a mirror, a clear one, a quiet one. You start to see patterns, why you feel hurt so easily, why you avoid people, why you fear rejection, why you want to be liked. This is not comfortable, but it is real. And real change starts with truth. You also begin to hear your inner voice, not the voice of your parents, not the voice of society, not the voice of social media, your voice. It asks simple questions. What do I enjoy? What do I hate? What kind of life do I want? When you have many friends, their voices are loud. They choose the music. They choose the plan. They choose the topic. They choose the direction. When you have no friends, your voice becomes clear. You choose. You choose how to spend your time. You choose what to learn. You choose what to improve. You choose where to go. This is not loneliness. This is freedom. Freedom is scary because now your life is your responsibility. You cannot blame anyone. You cannot follow the crowd. You cannot hide behind others. You must decide. Many people avoid this moment. They fill their life with noise. They fill their life with people. They fill their life with distractions. Not because they are happy, but because they are afraid. Afraid to be alone with their thoughts. Afraid to face their fears. Afraid to admit their dreams. But you are here. You are alone, so you are facing yourself. This is courage. You also begin to notice the world in a new way. You see how people talk. You see how people act. You see how people chase approval. You realize something important. Many friendships are not deep. Many connections are not real. Many smiles hide emptiness. You learn the difference between company and connection. Company is just being with someone. Connection is being understood. You may have no friends now, but you are learning what real friendship should be. Respect, trust, honesty, growth. You no longer want shallow talk. You no longer want fake laughter. You no longer want to pretend. This is another gift of solitude, clarity. You become clear about what matters. You become clear about who matters. You also become emotionally independent. When you are alone, you cannot depend on others for happiness. You cannot wait for messages to feel valued. You cannot wait for invitations to feel alive. You must create meaning by yourself. This is hard at first, but slowly something changes. You start to enjoy your own company. You read, you walk, you think, you learn. You discover small joys, a quiet morning, a long walk, a cup of tea, a new idea. You realize you do not need noise to feel alive. You do not need approval to feel worthy. You build a relationship with yourself. This is powerful, because when you respect yourself, you stop begging for attention. When you value yourself, you stop chasing people who do not care. When you know yourself, you stop pretending to be someone else. You become real, and real people are rare. You also start to grow in discipline. When no one is watching, what do? Do you waste your time, or do you invest in yourself? Solitude gives you this test every day. No one forces you, no one checks you, no one judges you. Only you. If you choose growth, you grow fast. If you choose comfort, you stay the same. This is how character is built, in quiet moments, in lonely rooms, in unseen efforts. Great writers write alone. Great thinkers think alone. Great builders build in silence. Before the world sees your strength, you must build it in private. And solitude gives you that space. You may still feel pain. You may still feel empty sometimes. You may still wish for connection. That is human. But now the pain has meaning. Now the quiet has purpose. You are not just waiting, you are becoming more aware, becoming more honest, becoming more independent, becoming more real. You are learning to stand on your own. This does not mean you will be alone forever. It means when people come, you will be ready. You will not choose friends out of fear. You will not accept anyone just to avoid loneliness. You will choose with wisdom, because you know your value. Solitude is not the end of your story. It is the training ground, a quiet place where you meet yourself, a silent path where you build strength. You may have no friends today, but you are gaining something deeper. You are gaining yourself. And when you have yourself, you are never truly empty. Part 2. How solitude builds strength, confidence, and purpose. Strength is not loud. Strength is not always seen. Real strength grows in quiet places, and solitude is one of those places. When you have no friends, life feels harder. There is no one to lean on, no one to comfort you, no one to distract you from pain. So you must learn to stand by yourself. At first, you feel weak, you feel unsure, you feel small. But slowly something changes. You face problems alone. You solve them alone. You survive alone. And every time you do, you become stronger. Think about a tree. A tree that grows in strong wind becomes tough. A tree that grows in calm weather stays soft. Solitude is your wind. It pushes you. It tests you. It forces you to grow roots. You learn to handle stress. You learn to sit with discomfort. You learn to continue even when no one is cheering. This is mental strength. Most people depend on others for support. When they lose that support, they break. But you are learning another way. You are learning to support yourself. You talk to yourself when you feel down. You calm yourself when you feel anxious. You encourage yourself when you feel tired. This is emotional strength. You become your own friend, your own coach, your own protector. And when you can hold yourself, life cannot easily destroy you. Solitude also builds confidence, not the loud kind, not the fake kind, but the quiet, deep kind.
Confidence does not come from being liked. It comes from knowing who you are. When you are alone, you stop performing. You stop trying to impress. You stop wearing masks. There is no audience, so there is no reason to pretend. You see yourself clearly, your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears, your dreams. You accept them. This acceptance is the root of confidence. You no longer ask, do they like me? You start to ask, do I respect myself? You no longer chase attention. You build value. You become comfortable in silence. You become calm in your own presence. This is rare. Many people feel nervous when they are alone. They reach for their phone. They turn on noise. They look for someone to talk to. But you learn to sit in stillness, to breathe, to exist. You do not need constant approval to feel real. That is confidence. Solitude also gives you time. Time to think, time to plan, time to learn. Time is power. When you have many social obligations, your days disappear. You talk, you meet, you go out, you react. But when you are alone, your time becomes yours. You can read books, you can watch lessons, you can practice skills, you can reflect on your mistakes. You invest in yourself. Every hour you spend improving becomes a brick. Brick by brick, you build a better version of you. This is how quiet people grow fast. You may not notice it at first, but one day you look back and you see how far you have come. Solitude also sharpens your focus. When there are fewer voices, your mind becomes clear. You can think deeply. You can see patterns. You can understand problems. You stop living on the surface. You start going inside. You ask important questions. What do I want to do with my life? What matters to me? What kind of person do I want to become? These questions shape your direction. Without direction, people drift. They follow trends. They copy others. They live by accident. But solitude gives you purpose. Purpose is a compass. It shows you where to go, even when the path is hard. You may feel lost now, but in quiet moments, clarity appears. Maybe you discover a love for learning. Maybe you discover a dream you were too afraid to admit. Maybe you realize what you must change. This is how a meaningful life begins, not in crowds, but in silence. Solitude also teaches responsibility. When no one is around, there is no one to blame. If you fail, it is on you. If you succeed, it is also on you. This is powerful. You stop waiting for help. You stop expecting rescue. You take ownership of your life.
Ownership creates maturity. You no longer see yourself as a victim of life. You see yourself as the builder of your future. Builders do not complain about the weather. They build anyway. You also develop patience. When you are alone, progress feels slow. There are no quick rewards, no one to praise you, no one to celebrate with you. So you learn to work without applause. This builds inner discipline. You do the right thing even when no one sees. You continue even when no one cares. This kind of character is unbreakable. Solitude also changes how you see people. You stop needing them, so you start seeing them clearly. You notice who respects you. You notice who uses you. You notice who listens. You notice who only talks. You become selective. You no longer accept any connection just to avoid loneliness. You choose quality over quantity. This protects your heart. You also become more compassionate. When you know what loneliness feels like, you understand others better. You see the quiet person in the room. You see the one who feels invisible. You see the one who feels different. Your heart becomes deeper. Strength without kindness is cold, but solitude can give you both. You become strong, and you become human. You may still want friends. You may still want connection. That is natural. But now you want it from a place of fullness, not from emptiness, not from fear. You do not want people to complete you. You want people to share life with you. There is a big difference. You are no longer searching for someone to save you. You are becoming someone who can stand alone. And when two strong people meet, they do not cling, they walk together. This is the kind of life solitude prepares you for. Not a life of isolation, but a life of strength. You are not becoming cold, you are becoming solid. You are not losing people, you are finding yourself. Every quiet day is training. Every lonely night is building something inside you. You may not see it yet, but you are changing. Stronger mind, calmer heart, clearer direction. This is the work of solitude. It does not shout, it does not show, but it shapes you, like water shaping stone. Slowly, silently, forever.
Part 3. From alone to whole. Becoming a better person. You are still alone, but you are not the same person. Something inside you has changed. You think differently. You feel differently. You move differently. You are no longer empty. You are becoming whole. Being whole does not mean perfect. It means complete inside. It means you do not need others to feel real. It means your life has a center. That center is you. When you were afraid of being alone, you searched outside. You wanted attention. You wanted approval. You wanted someone to tell you that you mattered. Now you know you matter. You have walked with yourself through quiet days. You have faced hard thoughts. You have survived lonely nights. You did not run. You did not hide. You stayed. And because you stayed, you grew. You were no longer desperate for connection. You were open to connection. Desperation says, please choose me. Wholeness says, I choose wisely. This changes everything. You no longer enter relationships from fear. You no longer hold people just to avoid emptiness. You no longer tolerate disrespect just to feel included. You respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, others feel it. Your words become calm. Your presence becomes steady. Your energy becomes quiet and strong. People notice, not because you are loud, but because you are real. You do not need to impress. You do not need to compete. You do not need to pretend. You are comfortable in your skin. This is what solitude builds. You also learn to give, not to take. When you were empty, you needed others to fill you. Now you are full, so you can share. You listen without waiting to speak. You help without needing praise. You care without expecting return. Your relationships become healthier. You are not looking for someone to save you. You are looking for someone to walk with you. Two whole people walking together do not lose themselves. They grow together. You also become honest about who belongs in your life. Not everyone does. Some people only bring noise. Some people only bring drama. Some people only bring doubt.
Before, you accepted anyone because being alone scared you. Now, you choose peace over company. You choose respect over attention. You choose growth over comfort. This is maturity. You also stop comparing your life to others. You no longer ask, why do they have more friends? You no longer ask, why am I different? You ask a better question. Who am I becoming? Comparison steals your focus. Solitude gives it back. You walk your own path, at your own speed, toward your own purpose. This brings inner peace.
Peace does not mean your life is easy. It means your heart is steady. You still face problems. You still feel pain. You still have doubts sometimes, but you are not lost inside. You know where you stand. You know what matters. You know what you are working toward. This is what it means to be whole. Wholeness also changes how you see loneliness. It is no longer an enemy. It is no longer a punishment. It is a teacher. Sometimes life will still place you alone, in a new city, in a new job, after a loss, after a change. But now you are not afraid. You know how to be with yourself. You know how to build from silence. You know how to turn quiet into growth. You trust yourself. Trust in yourself is the deepest form of security. No matter where you go, no matter who comes or leaves, you are at home within yourself. This is freedom. You also become a source of strength for others. People who feel lost will feel safe around you. People who feel alone will feel understood by you. Not because you give advice, but because your presence is calm. You have walked through solitude, so you carry depth. Your words are simple, but they come from experience. You do not say, be strong. You show what strength looks like. You do not say, you will be okay. You live as proof that growth is possible. This is quiet leadership. You are no longer defined by having no friends. You are defined by who you became because of it. You became more aware. You became more disciplined. You became more confident. You became more compassionate. You became better. Not better than others, better than who you were before. And that is the only comparison that matters. One day, new people will enter your life. Maybe a friend, maybe a partner, maybe a small circle that truly understands you. But they will meet a different version of you. Not someone who is empty and searching, but someone who is whole and choosing. You will not cling. You will not beg. You will not shrink to be accepted. You will stand as you are. And the right people will see you, not because you are loud, but because you are real. You may still have moments of loneliness. Even strong people do. But now loneliness does not break you. It reminds you of how far you have come. You remember the quiet days, the empty rooms, the long walks, the deep thoughts. You remember who you built in that silence, and you thank that version of you, the one who stayed, the one who faced the mirror, the one who did not run from being alone. Because of that person, you are here now, whole, steady, free. So if today you have no friends, if today you feel invisible, if today the world feels quiet in a painful way, do not believe that your life is small. Do not believe that you are broken. You are in a season of becoming, a season where noise is removed, a season where masks fall, a season where strength is built in silence. This is not the end of your story. This is the foundation. One day, when others see your calm, your confidence, your clarity, they will not know where it came from, but you will. It came from the days you stood alone, the nights you listened to your own heart, the moments you chose growth over escape. You were not abandoned. You were being prepared.
prepared to live with purpose, prepared to love without fear, prepared to walk your path with strength. You had no friends. And in that space, you found yourself. And when you find yourself, you never truly walk alone again.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Self-Study Every Day for more helpful lessons. Leave a comment and tell me what you want to learn next.